in Kmart. This is about human life and life on Earth. And unless we start thinking that way, we are going to go the way of biotechnology, which means toxic, which means monocultural, which means unhuman, inhuman, and we cannot afford to do this anymore. Right now, we have to change at this moment. Now, everyone, change.
Thank you. But ethics sometimes difficult to define. Sometimes will be seduced by profit sometimes, but so the bottom line is we know from our own heart. Everybody should start to think about this issue. And Shiva,
you also already supported it with your applause. Because I think that the heart of the issue is this. I think democracy requires participation. And participation means responsibility, including the ethical assessments and questioning about ethical implications. We've learned, as we can see with the beginning of the Arab Spring earlier this year and now with Occupy Wall Street, that people have a deep aspiration to participate. It was accepted that a Mubarak would control the resources of his country, and then people said, no, we don't want a dictatorship. And yet we are told repeatedly, even if it's about the food we eat that shapes our body, you have no business to decide. When we were having the big debate on the BT aubergine in India, the debate became so intense that our environment minister had to hold public hearings. And 7 cities, farmers, housewives, local scientists, teachers, professors poured into the town halls. And everyone had something intelligent to say. And as a result of those hearings, our environment minister put a moratorium on the egg plant. And then the TV debates started. The people who were, Monsanto doesn't come on TV anymore. They become clever. They put out either the people, the researchers whom they support, or the Indian partners, or whichever country they're in, the local partner. And every one of these so-called scientists said, oh, these debates are scientific, they should be left to science. And I remember every TV debate I had to say, first, you are not scientists, you're technicians. You're just applying a bad technique blindly without knowing the consequences. That's not science. You don't know what's going on. You shoot a gene through a gene gun or an agrobacterium cancer. You don't know where it goes. You don't know when it gets introduced. You put antibiotic resistance markers to make a difference, to find out. This is not knowledge. It's ignorance. And secondly, this is about our food. It's about agriculture. And everyone should be involved to decide and to know what goes into our food, an issue that you raised. So the point really is, those who have got used to making exclusive decisions on behalf of society are of course very reluctant to open up to consultation. There'll be a lot of reluctance when the design community comes into this field, because you'll have all kinds of things to say in all kinds of ways. But that's exactly what's needed in a democratic society.
Thank you. Korea is you.
I think we're talking about technology on a lot of levels here, from very simple technology that farmers have used for a century or millennia, and the technologies that most of us use every day, from, again, simple things like our pen and paper, up to what we consider modern technology that we've been talking a lot about yesterday and today, the cloud this morning, mobile devices yesterday. And I think, to me, I tend to be an optimist, not necessarily about technology, although that's a driver of a lot of what we do, but about how we as designers or people or humanity apply this technology. And I think one exciting trend for all of us is that it's becoming a lot easier for us to participate in not only how technology is created, but more importantly in how it's used. becoming, I think every day, every year, technology is more accessible to many of us, not in terms of, can we afford it, can we buy it, but what can we do with it? How can we change it? How can we change it to our uses? Between yesterday's keynote and this morning's on the internet, we've heard a number of examples of how technology is being applied. One example this morning was the Khan Academy making classes and education available to a lot more people, and that's been enabled by mobile computing technology. So it's kind of a piece of technology that underlies it, but I don't think that's really the important thing, it's how we use it. And I think for us as designers, one thing that I always think about in the technology, the products that I work on and work to create, it's how people are really going to use this. So in design, we talk a lot